Hey guys, want to take a quick look at Tesla here. I've been watching Tesla lately, thinking I might want to take a short position in here. Um, like I said, I've always loved Tesla as far as the cars and the product they make, and the company's fantastic. I just think it's really overvalued. Doesn't really matter in this market. The market's been pretty strong here, and Tesla's a huge favorite of day traders. So, fundamentals aside, we don't want to get too involved in the fundamentals because the stock obviously doesn't trade correlated to its fundamentals. But technically, let's look at it here. Remember, keeping out our 2 and 3 day outliers. I think this is your trend move, and once again, my system that we use, obviously, after a big pullback and a big run up, we want to see where we pulled back to, and that's an area we think is significant. So I'm going to start my trend line right here. Once again, we're going to keep these little outliers out and find common touches. Here's 1 day under, then right back over. Common touches. 1 day closing right under there. I'm sorry, opening right under, and then right back above. So that brings us, oddly enough, right to the pivot point where we broke down. So we believe this line's significant. You can also see that pivot right here is kind of acting as a, for now, a closing resistance around 336.90, 337. I think it can push up through there, but in this leg here, it might require a pullback and then another move higher. Taking that and taking this other line here from where we had a big move, and we find some significant touches along here. We did start to break down, and then we got back above it, and then this has been an area where it had a big battle. One close above it, and then we failed. So if we take this prior pivot and we cross those two lines, we get a resistance level along this line here. So if we do break above this pivot here, I do believe this resistance will come into play. And I do believe the top one here around the 355 area is going to be really hard to get through. So if you're going to use options, or I hate to short this thing open, I think your numbers of significance are somewhere around the 355 area for resistance, and this line here, shorter term resistance, should we break through this pivot here on the 337, which looks like it might be possible after a little bit of a pullback. It could get through there today. If it does get through there today, then I think you can actually line up an open short on the stock without options for a little bit of an intraday pullback right around the 347 and change, 348 area. Don't think we'll get there though. A little too far, too fast. So here's your pivot line as well that we broke through. Once again, taking the outliers, the open above there, we didn't want to use that because they sold right into it. If it sold down slightly, we could have used it, but it really sold down and got right back down to the lower trend line. And then where did we go to after we bounced? Right up in here. So this line is significant. You can see us hitting that area there on the second bounce. A retest, and then we're back off to the races again. Obviously, the market helped it. So if we start getting a little crazy here, and we do get up to that level there that we think is either possible later today or tomorrow. Today, I think will be really hard to get there. But the 348, 347 area, if things were to go kind of parabolic today, looks like an interesting area for a short. Obviously, do your your setup so that you get a 2-to-1 ratio on your stops. 355 is the overhead resistance on the intermediate term. And then longer term, obviously, we're looking up close to this 370 area.